Hey, what's up guys? It's Cypher from CypherPK.com, and today I am bringing you the Magicka Sorcerer build that I've been playing for the past few days, almost a week now. And I gotta say that of all the Sorcerer builds I have tried, this one seems to be one of the strongest ones out there, maybe the strongest one out there for solo PvP. And there's a lot of reasons why, but I'm just gonna get into it, show you the build, and let you know what I think about it. So this is a Destro Resto Sorcerer. We're gonna start off with the Destro bar. Pretty standard setup. Crystal Fragments, Crushing Shock, Hardened Ward, Endless Fury, Malicious Curse, and then we are using Eye of Flame, which is the Destro Staff Ultimate. The one that follows you around. One thing you'll notice is a little bit different is I do have Hardened Ward in my front bar. This is completely up to you if you want to have it on your front bar or your back bar. I just found that having it on my front bar gave me a little bit more freedom when I went for my Destro Ultimate, and I didn't have to weapon swap too much to keep my shields up. You can definitely keep it on your back bar if you want to and put Surge on your front bar for more spell damage, but that's completely up to you. This is just how I found playing it to work well. So the abilities are pretty much the same thing. The Sorcerer hasn't really changed too much over the past 2 years. It's very similar setup. The sets are definitely a little bit different though. We'll get into that in a second. Resto bar. Harness Magicka, Healing Ward, you know, the 3 shields, Healing Ward, Harness Magicka, Hardened Ward, and then Daedric Minefield, Streak, Power Surge. Now, I get this question a lot, what's the difference between Power Surge and Entropy? So Power Surge is going to give you the extra healing and the spell damage. Entropy is going to give you the max magic and the magical recovery, as well as the dot and the empowerment. They're both good options. You can use either one. Personally, if I'm going to use something on my back bar, I'll usually just use Power Surge because you won't really benefit too much from empowerment if it's on your back bar, and you don't have to swap to it too much because it lasts longer. And the extra healing is kind of useful in this meta where there's a lot of damage incoming. So Power Surge is my go-to. I'm using Energy Overload for my ultimate. You can use any other ultimate you want to, but the reason I'm using it is because I like to have a bar to escape with. I have my 2 shields right here. I have Boundless Storm for the speed, if necessary, while I'm running away. I have Streak, and then I have Defensive Ruin, which puts a Defensive Ruin on me for about 120 seconds, so 2 minutes. And basically, if anybody attacks you, they immediately get CC'd. This is pretty good against gankers, and if you're trying to run away, it will slow down your opponents because they'll have to CC break if they hit you. So that's my overload bar. You can change it however you feel, however you see fit. And you don't even have to use overload. You can use another ultimate on your back bar. Now let's get into the armor sets. So none of this stuff is crafted, so you're going to have to do some PvE or some purchasing because we are using 5 pieces of Spinner, which I forgot which place of Tamriel this drops, but it drops somewhere. I believe it was Malabtor. I'm not exactly sure, but I would just do a simple Google search. It drops in every trait. I'm running 4 pieces of Impen on it. These, I didn't farm them myself. Someone gave them to me, and I really appreciate that. But you can farm them or you can purchase them from guild stores or other players. So it's 4 pieces on the body, impenetrable, all max Magicka, and then the Spinner's Inferno Staff sharpened. You can use a Flame Staff, you can use a Lightning Staff, you can use an Ice Staff. Typically, Sorcerers synergize well with Lightning. The way I play, I prefer Flame. So it's up to you whether you go Flame, Lightning, or Ice. They all should work in their own unique way, and they shouldn't really hold you back. It's just a different approach. So 4 pieces on the body and 1 piece Inferno. The other sets we are running is 5 pieces of Lich. So we are running Lich Jewelry, all spell damage, 1 Lich chest that is infused, and a Lich Resto. Now this is the old Resto because it only dropped in charged. The Lich Resto now drops in all traits as well. As you can see, I have one over here that is sharpened. I am trying to get a defending Resto. That's probably going to be the best trait for this build. I have not yet received one, but I will eventually get it. But for now, I'm just using my charged one. Lich drops in Crypt of Hearts. If you want to get the jewelry, I recommend you do Crypt of Hearts on veteran mode because it drops in purple. And once you have the jewelry, you can run it on normal mode to get the resto and the body pieces. Now, the 2-piece Undaunted set. We are using Pirate Skeleton 2-piece. It's a little bit different than what you would usually expect, but I found this to work really, really well. The problem I had with Sorcerer when I was playing earlier is I was dying very quickly and I was taking a lot of damage, and my shields weren't staying up long enough, and you were just very squishy in light armor. What this does is that gives you a little bit more protection for your character. The one piece gives you the 2000 physical and spell resist. Now that doesn't really apply to your shields, but it will apply to your health, which is kind of useful. You're not always going to have your shields up. Your shields will drop in combat because they only last 6 seconds, and because they're not as big, there's a chance that they will drop. So this keeps you alive a little bit. And then when you take damage, you have a 6% chance to transform into a skeleton and gain major protection and minor defile for 12 seconds. So you reduce the damage you take by 30%, but you also reduce the healing you receive by 15%. Now, fortunately for sorcerers, healing isn't a very important aspect of a sorcerer. They have shields, and they're pretty reliable, and the heals they have work underneath the shields. So the healing reduction doesn't really hurt you too much, which makes the set work really well with sorcerers, because the damage reduction also applies to your shields as well as your health, making you extremely tanky while you're in the skeleton form. Now, the only warning I'm going to give you with this set is it is bugged, because while you are transforming from a human to a skeleton, or from a skeleton back to a human, there's about a half a second or even a quarter second delay where you're not able to cast abilities, weapon swap. You pretty much lose complete control of your character for like a quarter of a second. This has gotten me killed once or twice in the past, I don't know, 12 hours or so of me playing the Sorcerer. So it's got me killed once or twice. It's probably going to get you killed a couple of times as well. But hopefully this bug gets fixed. It's been reported already. But that's the only downside of using the set. But it's actually very useful. Now let's get into the stats really quickly. This is on our Inferno setup. We have 38k max Magicka, 1.8k Magicka recovery, 688 stamina recovery, 43.8% spell critical. We are using the Thief Mundus. You pretty much can use whatever Mundus stone you want. If you want more max Magicka, if you want more recovery, if you want more whatever, you can use whatever you want. 20k health, 10k stamina, 38k max Magicka. Now, the reason our recovery is looking pretty decent is we are using a specific food. We are using Witch Mother. And what this does is it gives you max Magicka, max health, and it gives you Magicka recovery for 2 hours. I found this set to be, I found this food to be very useful. You can also use Tri-Stat or Bi-Stat if you wanted to. You can use one or the other. They all work, but I can manage my stamina well enough to be okay with 10k stamina. And I'll also use immovable potions to kind of help with the stamina issue if needed. So this setup I find to be working really well. I know the max Magicka isn't that high, but you still hit extremely hard with this build, as you can see from my most recent 1vx video, which you can find on my YouTube channel. You still hit extremely hard. The recovery is high, so you're able to reliably, stay alive and keep your recovery going. I'm gonna go ahead and just proc my Lich so that you can see the recovery in action. So Lich, basically, once you drop below 30% max Magicka, you get 1,000 extra recovery for 20 seconds. This effect can occur once every minute. So I'm going to drop. Lich is procced. I'm at 3.579 with Lich. And when I drink my potion, I am at almost 4k Magicka recovery for 20 seconds when the Lich is procced. So this is a lot of Magicka recovery. The sustain is really great on this build. And if you feel like you need more sustain, you can always switch the Thief out for more Magicka recovery. But I went Thief just for the extra crit damage. It's pretty useful. Let's look at the champion points really quickly. Again, race, high elf. This is the best race. Thief Mundus. I am also a stage 4 vampire. The reason is you don't necessarily have to be a vampire, but the damage reduction while you're low health from the vampire passive helps you quite a bit. Especially because it stacks with your skeleton, so you can get up to like 60% damage reduction when you're low health in your skeleton form. Let's go into the champion points. Now this is pretty standard stuff. I'm not an expert when it comes to like min-maxing champion points, but this seems to be doing well for me, so I'm just going to go with it. 75 points into reduced Magicka cost, 86 points into Magicka recovery, 25 points into tumbling, 1 into ward, 9 into blessed, 50 into Elfborn, 86 into Elemental Expert, 7 into Spell Erosion. Now, I might be putting more into Spell Erosion, but I think I have enough penetration with the Light Armor and Spinners, which gives you 4,000 Spell Pen. 10 into Staff Expert, 25 into Thaumaturgist to boost the ultimate a little bit, but honestly, I might be putting a little bit too much into here. But, because I was using Grothdar as well with this ultimate. I was also using Grothdar, so the dot increase was really nice. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to just do this number right here. All right. Over here we have 10 into resistance. You can put more. I probably will need to eventually put more into this. 51 into hardy, 29 into elemental defender, 19 into thick skinned, 2 into quick recovery, and 76 into bastion, which increases your shield effectiveness. So pretty standard CP setup. There might be like a more efficient way to put it, but I'm not the type of guy to you know, do the math behind things. I just do whatever feels good. So that's the build, guys. It's really strong. If you want to see it in action, I know people always complain, yo Cypher, you always upload build videos, but you never show it in action. It's because I have dedicated videos to show you the action, and the action is on my YouTube channel. Just go on my YouTube channel, and you click on the Sorcerer 1vx video, and you'll see this build in action. So really good build, really strong, really effective. I really like it. It's making me like playing my Magicka Sorcerer again, and I hope you guys have a good time with this build as well. And best of luck trying to get the gear and whatever. Obviously, you can switch things out. You don't necessarily have to run Spinner. If you don't have Spinner, run Julianos instead. You should be perfectly fine with that. You have a little bit less damage, but you should be perfectly fine with that. And if you don't want to run Pirate, you can run Infernal Guardian. Engine Guardian's also really good. Grothdar. There's a lot of different setups you can run. But that's the gist of it, guys. I think I got everything. Thank you guys so much for watching this build video. I'll try to have this on my website, cypherpk.com, as soon as I can. And for the people wondering where the Templar build is at, the Blazing Shield build, I will try to get that out to you guys as soon as possible. Thank you very much, and don't forget to leave a like. Enjoy the rest of your day. Peace out.